Belgium legalized euthanasia and assisted suicide in 2002 for unbearable or untreatable suffering. Suffering from psychological conditions are covered under this law. Those with depression, personality disorder, and Asperger's syndrome are all eligible to receive lethal drugs if they wish. In February of 2015, in the case of Carter v. Canada, Canada's Supreme Court opened the door for the Parliament of Canada to pass new federal legislation regarding euthanasia. In June of 2016, the Parliament of Canada passed a law that allowed eligible Canadian adults to request medical assistance in dying. The law has evolved over the years, and eligibility has expanded to those who have a grievous and irremediable medical condition. A grievous and irremediable medical condition is currently described as having a serious illness, disease, or disability excluding a mental illness until March 17, 2024. The date to include mental illness has been extended numerous times as it is still being fiercely debated. One camp believes that there should be no discrimination or denying people's rights based off factors such as mental illness. The other camp, however, believes that those who suffer from mental illness cannot make rational decisions and are not in the right state of mind to make life-altering decisions. I personally believe that people have the right to define their own suffering, and therefore have the right to decide if their suffering is too unbearable. We, as future nurses, are told that the best judge of the existence and severity of a patient's pain is not the physician or nurse caring for the patient, but the patient themselves. I do, however, believe that people should attempt to remedy their suffering with medical interventions before deciding on assisted suicide. In regards to medical intervention as a first line of defense, just today I actually heard a story about a woman named April Burrell. April experienced a traumatic event when she was 21. She quickly developed psychosis and became lost in a constant state of visual and auditory hallucinations. She was diagnosed with a severe form of schizophrenia and was institutionalized for 2 decades. She recently crossed paths with a researcher that studied her decades ago, and this time around, he set out with a team of experts to remedy her situation. After many tests, the experts concluded that although April's illness was clinically indistinguishable from schizophrenia, she also had lupus, a treatable autoimmune condition that was attacking her brain. After 6 months of treatment for lupus, April awoke from being trapped in her mind for 2 decades. At the end of her treatment, she was deemed stable and voluntarily discharged herself from the institution. Although the story isn't directly about assisted suicide, it does outline the positive potential that appropriate medical intervention can have on one's suffering. I highly suggest reading the whole story. It is fascinating.